couple of pages in there where we have no idea what it is that's on the page, and we wrote it. You know, and we're like, you know what that gray thing is? Or what they're doing there? Nope. And I think that if we had been able to talk to him, we could have said, hey, make the gray thing look like something. But he did a great job.
Was really good.
Yeah, he did a terrific job on the characters and on the most of the action, and it was just sort of those fine points that weren't in the script that we would have been able to talk to him about that we never had a chance to.
So how long did that whole process take then? You were sending material, or did you send the whole screenplay?
We finished the script in September of 2009, and they finished the art in May of 2011.
Wow.
And we never saw the, generally with a novel, you have a couple of edit stages after you turn in, your manuscript so that you can go there like, dude, you misspelled necessary 300 times, which I did. I just can't get the S's and the C's. Anyway, but Ian can, so that wasn't a problem with this. But we never got to see it to say, look, maybe, there were some panels that's not clear. We could have added dialogue and said, like captions that said, this gray thing is a spaceship, or, to clarify it. And we never saw the final product before we got the final product. We never had a chance to go over it and fix stuff. And clearly, Jennison didn't either. But it was 2 years of them hiding and moving our artists, so we couldn't talk to them.
The thing about writing a script for graphic novels is that it was on.
It's on, so it's not.
Okay.
There you go.
The main difference, and we get asked this a lot, is that when you write a screenplay, or actually a script for a graphic novel, you have to direct on the page. So you describe each panel individually, you describe the angle, you describe exactly what you're going to see. So there's an enormous amount of directing that goes into the process before it actually comes to the artist. And so Chris and I actually had a lot of fun with that. I mean, that was kind of new for us because you don't do that in screenplays. You certainly don't do that in novels. And so we had to learn a whole new language, a whole new system in order to communicate with our artists who were witness protection. So.
Yeah, a graphic novel script, Ian teaches screenwriting, so this is one of the things that, a film is a director's medium, and so you don't literally call the shots. And we had thought, I think when we conceived of this, we thought we were just going to hand them a movie script and go. And they went, oh, no. And I remember being sort of incredulous toward what the process is. And you have to tell them what every picture on every page is like. You have to describe it. And Alan Moore, who did like V is for Vendetta and Extraordinary Gentleman and stuff, I guess he does like a full typed page for every panel. So you're talking about a 1,000-page manuscript. We did not do that, but it was quite different to say, high angle over Moe's shoulder, looking at Steve, his reaction, all that stuff that a director would do, and you would never put, they'd drop your movie script in a hot second if you put that in a script. And yet that's what we had to do. So it was sort of like, wow, we get to write a really bad movie script. And develop bad habits, so that was good.
Given that experience, do you think you'd try another graphic novel with maybe, now that you've been through kind of the worst end experience of it, do you think you'd try it again with different circumstances?
I think doing it where you're really working with the designer and the artist, I would consider doing it again, but not the way we just did. I'm not unhappy with how it came out, but it just could be so much better, and there's no reason for it not to be. So just return your copies at the desk.
No, ignore that last comment.
No. Ian, what do you think?
Yeah, I would do another one as well, but again, like Chris said, we learned what not to do, and so I think communication is key, and I think working with different people under different circumstances would absolutely help.
I would think there would be artists a lot more accessible that you could.
You could at Comic-Con. You
Yeah.
could throw a stick and hit 5 talented artists that
Right.
have been happy to do this
Yeah, yeah.
for probably less money than the producers, the packagers got for this. And we just weren't, the problem is everybody who went into the process didn't know better. And including my editor, who's been in, you know, I mean, she's Ray Bradbury's editor. She was Isaac Asimov's editor. You know, she's been in the business for years at the highest level, but she'd never done a graphic novel. So none of, you know, all of us were professionals in our field, but we were all trying something new. And so I kind of feel like we weren't victimized, but we were certainly
Babes in the woods.
we were taken advantage of by people who knew better.
Yeah.
We, I don't know, we could probably afford to have them killed.
Yes, you And you know how to hide the bodies, too.
That's true.
Do you look at any of your other books now and think, gee, that could be a graphic novel?
I don't so much, but I think my readers do.
Yeah.
You know, my readers, now that they're, oh, you're doing graphic novels, the vampire books would be, you know, but I have to say, you know, the time we put into this, if you take the doing the outline and then the movie script and then changing it and then dealing with the artists, that's almost as much time as it takes me to write a novel. Certainly a short novel like the vampire books. And I don't want to do the same story again.
Right.
You know, so if it were to move forward, but I would let somebody else do it, you know.
Yeah.
And then just yell at them if they got it wrong.
That's a good position to be in.
I don't know. Ian's written a couple of novels, but you have movie scripts. Would you do any of your other movie scripts as graphic novels?
Yeah, I would actually. I've been asked to do a couple already, and I think going from a movie script to a graphic novel is not as big a leap as going from a novel to a graphic novel. I think it's a lot of the work's already done, and plus it's a shorter format, so it lends itself more readily to an adaptation.
Okay.
Well, I know Chris is an old hand at these book tours. How's it been for you, Ian?
It's been pretty good. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I'm kind of new to this whole world. But it's been exciting, and people have been, you know, very kind and you know, giving a lot of praise, and it's so far so good.
Well, you're doing very well. You make a good team, the two of you.
Thanks.
Any questions from the audience now? About anything?
Okay, I have a solution for the debt ceiling, since I know that's going to be the first question. Just raise the friggin' debt ceiling. It's not really a problem. You just made it into a problem. Okay, what was your question?
Well, actually, this is for Ian. With your experience in screenwriting, I was curious, do you have any thoughts on, or even know about Blake Snyder's skills as a screenwriter and teaching skills?
Blake Snyder, he wrote the Cat book. I looked at that book. A lot of my students like it. It didn't really do much for me. I think a lot of screenwriting books just kind of regurgitate the obvious. And I think there's a couple of, you know, granddaddies in that field, Sid Field being one of them, Michael Haig being another very good one. I hear Blake Snyder's fantastic. I haven't really experienced that stuff. Like I said, just sort of looked through it briefly.
What's the guy that did Story?
Oh, Robert McKee?
Yeah, everybody, I mean, when I went to Hollywood 20 years ago, Disney said, you have to get this book or we won't talk to you anymore. And they were going to send me to his class. So evidently, that's the one. I haven't read it, but that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one, but if you did convert the vampire novels into graphic novel form or movie form, would you change them to go with mainstream and make them sparkle instead of burn in the sun?
No, because that's wrong. One of the reasons that I mean, my vampire novels would be young adult novels, except everybody's really foul-mouthed in them. And that's what people keep asking me all the time. It's like, why don't you do a young adult novel, especially school librarians? They're like, I'd love to give your stuff to my kids, but I can't because I'll lose my job.